Today, we're going to endeavor to answer the question, what should somebody do on Neopets.com if they only have 20 minutes to do something on Neopets.com? And I've thought of a couple of ways to approach this different topic, what we should prioritize. Ultimately, I'm going to show you guys what I do and kind of explain the tactics and the techniques to discover what you should do to develop your own cadence, your own strategy for tackling 20 minutes plus on Neopets.com. Here's the form of this video. First, I'm going to talk about 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes or fewer to do something on Neopets.com, what you should be doing. And then I'm going to be like, okay, now let's say you've got another 10 minutes that you found somewhere, you very industrious Neopian. How do you handle that incremental 5 minutes, putting you at a total of 10 minutes? And then we're going to look at if you got 5 more minutes, and let's be honest, if you've got over 15 minutes to spend on Neopets.com, it's probably going to turn to 4 to 6 hours pretty quickly. So we're going to talk about the tactics to develop those strategies, and we're going to talk about whether or not you're a daily player, an infrequent player, if you're returning after a long time, how to structure your different playtime. Starting with 5 minutes on Neopets.com. I personally do not log on to Neopets every day. Sometimes I will log on 2 times a month. Sometimes I'll log on 2 times a week. And that does inform kind of the techniques, the strategies that I employ when it enters my silly little head that I really ought to go to Neopets. We're going to start off with a blank browser page, and we're going to type in Neopets.com. If you haven't been on in a while, this landing page experience is going to be a nightmare because it's a nightmare. What is this landing page doing? Nobody knows. This isn't Neopets. Where's the omelet? If you are currently logged into Neopets and you don't need to mess around with this, what I recommend that you do is you open your good old search engine of choice and you search Neopets, and then you navigate to Neopets from one of the site links in the search results. Go to your inventory, do something like that, because Neopets.com, dead to us. Unfortunately, useless now. It's a landing page for a company, not the experience of the website. Which one were you looking for? Well, you don't get that. You get this other thing. Once we're on Neopets.com, at our inventory, at our site experience that is somewhere past the main page, you are going to be logged in, however you do that act at this point in your life, and you are going to open up your bank, the stock market, include club bets, and then you're also going to open up the quest log. So the daily quest log, this is a new thing that has been recently added in this year of our Lord 2024. And in these first 5 minutes, we're not really going to touch the quest log. We just want to open it. There is an issue, an error, where the quest log will only count activities done after opening the quest log. So if you're going to be setting up bookmarks for all the pages to open when you want to do Neopets dailies, I strongly suggest you put the quest log at the very top of the list. So that way you don't do some action like feed a Neopet or spin a wheel before you've actually opened the quest log. So we're not actually going to tackle the quest log in these first 5 minutes. We're only doing our strictly economic activities. When I get the sudden impulse, the neurons in my brain say, hey girl, we've got to go to Neopets.com. These are the activities that I do. Open the bank, I open the stock market, and I open food club bets. In this order, we are going to go to the National Neopian Bank. We are going to collect our interest, and then we're going to withdraw between 100 to 200,000 Neopoints. If I'm not actively playing Neopets and I'm only passively playing Neopets, meaning that all of my sessions look like this 5-minute session, then I probably already have this amount of Neopoints on hand, but I don't want to errantly find myself here again in the next 5 minutes, so I'm just going to withdraw that right now. Next up, I am going to the stock market and I'm seeing if I have anything to sell. When we're deciding what we're buying, what we're selling, we're going to look at our current stocks, our current portfolio, and we're going to see if anything has a current price over 60 Neopoints. If it does, cool, we're going to sell it. If I'm feeling really spicy, I might sell anything in the realm from 50 to 60 Neopoints per share. Now that we've made those sales, if we can't always, We will then go to the list of all stocks at their current prices. And we're going to try to identify a stock at 15 Neopoints per share. That is the minimum by which most users can buy stocks at most times. So we're going to look for those. And then if there are multiple of them, we're going to cross-reference that with our current portfolio to make sure that if we can, we're diversifying our portfolio. I'm actually taking a finance class right now, and last week I did a test where I had to extol the virtues of diversifying your portfolio. So shout out to Neopets.com for teaching this from a young age. You want to have a diverse portfolio across multiple industries, and when you think about your personal finances, maybe that means having multiple income streams. But I digress. We're talking about Neopets today. So I'll see if there is a stock at 15 Neopoints per share that I have fewer of than the other ones. And that's the one that I buy 1,000 shares of, which comes to 15,000 Neopoints. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to go over to the Food Club bets. So this is gambling. I've made several videos about this. I am a firm advocate of using the Food Club bets, and I'm not going to back down. I frequently lose Neopoints to the Food Club bets, but just from some basic level record keeping, I have come out ahead over time. And because of that, I say do the Food Club bets every day. It's not relatively all that many Neopoints, and it comes out ahead in the long run. This is how I make my Neopoints, is the Food Club bets. So do the Food Club bets, okay? How do you do Food Club bets? I recommend, like for most parts of Neopets.com, you're going to go to Jelly Neo Food Club Bets Guide, and they actually have a Food Club Bets generator that you could just plug in what your max bet is and tell it your strategy. That's got a drop-down list with the different strategies, and then you can just control click all 10 of those bets and place them. And then you come back the next day and you see if you won big or not. I do that every day. And then, of course, you've got the quest log already opened. So that's your first 5 minutes on Neopets.com. That's what I do. Typically takes fewer than 5 minutes. The first couple times you set it up or that you're wandering through the process, it might take a little bit longer, but that's 5 minutes on Neopets.com. That is my most standard visit to the website. Those three things: bank interest, stock market, Food Club bets. That's how you make Neopoints. Why didn't I mention Trudy's? I didn't mention Trudy's because Trudy's isn't an active action. It tends to find you. But for the sake of the argument, bookmark Trudy's Surprise as well. It's a daily thing. Gives you currency every day. Just do it. Like, I'm not going to mention it again in the video. Just Trudy's is part of the 5 minutes at the start of the game. When we move on to 10 minutes on Neopets.com, that's when we're going to the quest log. And I know what you're thinking, Julie, these aren't my standard dailies. These are weird acts. Why am I doing that with my next 5 minutes? And it's because there is a non-zero payout for doing these activities. And we're going to fly through the dailies really quickly when we get to them. So the next category that we're doing is we are filling out that quest log. This quest log, it's mostly stuff like feed your Neopet, buy 3 things from a Neopian shop, spin a wheel. Just like really the most brain dead asinine activities. And I'm going to go on a tangent here. When we think about this category of interaction on browser-based virtual pet games, I have long since been an advocate of this interaction. Having daily goals that you're rewarded for that level up to a bigger goal, right? Like Flight Rising has implemented this and it's good. The way that they did it is smart. It's a little too smart and actually broke my brain a little bit, and now I can't play Flight Rising as much because I can't trust myself because the system's too good. Neopets, I think, can learn a couple lessons with the way that they implemented their quest log feature, because I work in the world of digital marketing. I work for an app, and a big part of my job is trying to figure out how to get people to use the different functions on our app. So it's not too dissimilar to what Neopets.com is doing right here, because Neopets is asking the question, how do we get people to engage with Neopets and come back every day? And they've decided to answer this question by being like, we'll have them do low stakes, easy activities. That's not how I would answer this question. Instead of just feeding or grooming your Neopet, I would look at those activities that highly invested users who come back year after year, day after day, and I would make it a priority to incentivize those actions and to inform users who have like a lower interaction score to learn how those interactions work, right? So I'm talking about placing food club bets. I'm talking about buying stocks. I'm talking about restocking your own shop inventory. I'm talking about filling up your album. These are actions that longtime Neopets users prioritize and enjoy, that if you teach to newer players who are not quite as engaged, you will get a more engaged user base. And that's what I think that these daily goals should be for, not for mind-numbingly frustrating actions like buying 3 items from a shop. It enrages me. The good news is that it's only for like 20,000 Neo points a day or whatever. Like, the prize for doing these daily tasks is not great. Like, how do I contextualize this? If I was walking in Neopia Central, I would not cross the street for 20,000 Neo points, right? Like, what's that old like thing about like Bill Gates? Is that like if he bent down to pick up a penny, like the act of him bending down to pick up a penny would like cost more than he would gain by picking up the penny, which is silly because it's not like he expends currency doing that action. He just gets net 1 penny. But anyways, like in the grand scheme of my life, 20,000 Neo points is nothing, is very small. And I'm not going to shift my life priorities in order to log on to Neopets like every day for like 7 days in order to get like 100,000 Neo points. Like, I'm sorry, that's garbage. It's not worth my time. So we're going to do these quest log actions if we've got 10 minutes on Neopets because they're easy to knock out and they don't hurt anything. But also, if I don't want to do them, then I'm skipping them. It's the same way as on Flight Rising. It's the same way on Flight Rising. It feels just like so low stakes to me to pass up on any of these because this isn't really how you make currency on the website. Unless you're really bad at making currency on the website. Now we're looking at, we've done our baseline economic activities. We've done our quest log. We've got 5 more minutes, baby. We've got 10 to 15 minutes to spend on neopets.com. How are we spending it? And this is where we get into the content of the website, like the literal meat and bones of neopets.com. Like, this is the stuff that you do that is Neopets. And it's going to start with our dailies. We're going to look at the things that, what are the things that you could do once a day on Neopets? What are your Sisyphean efforts? Your things that you are attempting to do on Neopets that might spend years. You might spend years trying to do this act because like it's up to the number gods and they also hate you, by the way. The number one resource that you need to check to understand which dailies that you're going to do is your own personal serotonin dopamine model in relationship to neopets.com. What do I mean by that? I mean, there are many different motivations one has to play Neopets. They're like, I want my pet to be super strong or super smart, or I want to have every color of Aisha on Neopets, on Neopia. And then there's also the person who's like, I want to have a bunch of trophies, or like, I want to have all these avatars. And that will define what your dailies should be. When I go on Neopets, my motivators, my little dopamine model is optimized against basically 2 different outcomes. The first is the nostalgia of playing Neopets. If I'm going to be spending extra time past my first 10 minutes on Neopets doing silly little things on this website, they got to stroke that nostalgia center. They've got to inspire me to think about rushing home at 3 p.m. from grade school, jumping on the computer and clicking on buttons, right? It has to like bring me back in my brain to where I was in 2003. I need to time travel through this action. And then the other one is I'm trying to get all the avatars, baby. So what we can do for that second one, because the first one, I can't help you. I could like kind of shoot in the dark of what I think your serotonin might react to, what your little lizard Tico brain might be searching for a little stroke, but it's going to be a shot in the dark. I don't know what your nostalgia of Neopets looks like, but I do know how to figure out which avatars you need. And so once again, we're going to Jelly Neo, God bless, patron saint of every Neopets activity, every Neopets user. Jelly Neo, single most important website in my entire life. Don't know what I would do. It's the biggest constant, right? We've got like Google, Facebook. Don't have a great relationship with either at this point. You know who I do have a great relationship to? Jelly Neo. It's never done me wrong. It has literally never in my life done me wrong. Isn't that amazing? Take notes, Zuck. Take notes. So anyways, you're going to go to jellyneo.net and you're going to go to the avatar checklist. What this will do, it will open up a browser page, the NeoBoard preferences, and you're going to right-click View Source, Control-A to copy all the text, right-click Copy. You're going to paste that into the Jelly Neo text box for the avatar checklist. Then you're going to check the appropriate little boxes underneath to probably exclude retired avatars. And then you're going to click the button, Show me what avatars I need. You should get pretty familiar with this list if you're an avatar collector. I generally know which avatars I'm missing. Yeah, I've just been on Neopets for so much of my life that I would say there's probably just like a huge corridor of my brain where like I guess normal people would have like historical figures and dates tucked away, and for me instead it's like, oh, in order to get the Maths Nightmare avatar or the ice cream avatar or the chocolate factory avatar, this is what I need to do. And by the way, I've never managed to get those 3 avatars on any of my accounts ever. So thank you, brain, for doing that for me. It's been incredibly useful. You are going to look at this checklist and you're going to decide which of these daily activities to perhaps get one of these avatars that you're going to add to your list. The way that I recommend this, I mentioned it shortly at the top, is that you are going to make a bookmarks folder in your browser. This is what I do. And I bookmark every action on Neopets that I consider to be my daily. And if you're being peckish, you only have 5 minutes, that's when you do only those first 3 economic activities. You could right click, open them out from your bookmarks folder, or you could just navigate to them directly. But when you know that you've got 10 plus minutes, that's when you right click, open every page in the folder. That's when you open all of your dailies at a time, and you construct that gradually based off of what your goals are on Neopets. So mine span a lot of the regular Neopets activities, right? We're going to the giant omelet. We're going to the giant jelly. We're drawing a tombola tab. We're visiting the haiku guy. But then I also have a couple of daily activities that are just there for like little child brain Julie. Because I get a tickle out of purchasing a ticket to go to the Tyranian concert hall and sending my Neopet to see a concert. Serves no function. I have all the avatars, right? Like once I've gotten the daily avatar from an activity, I unbookmark that daily. But I still buy a ticket and send my Neopet to the concert because it's only like 1,200 Neo points and they deserve to see live music. I think that my Kachik, my disco Kachik, deserves to see live music, okay? I can't do much for her. I can do that. I could send her to a show. So most of my dailies are functional. They're like mostly stuff that like I can either get an avatar or make some Neo points at. But they're mostly there for like when I play Neopets, this is the thing I do. Going through those dailies typically doesn't take very long. It's usually like open a page, click a button. Fairy Caverns, click the button. You're done with it in 20 seconds. Forgotten Shore. You know immediately how long you're going to take on this daily. Once we reach that point where you've completed all these, which shouldn't take very long, maybe 3 minutes, really, if depending on your internet connection, that's when we're going to start doing the unlimited time on Neopets activities, like the, like you're losing your life to this, like this is your Sisyphean effort. And sometimes it all comes back to that avatar checklist, right? Like, I want to get the Loop Boom Battle Dome avatar, right? And that'll take like 20 minutes out of your life, maybe. Or like, I want to get the Elefante Peanuts avatar. That's going to take like 10 minutes of structured activity. It might take a lot of Neo points depending on how you're doing it. But if I got longer than those initial 15 minutes, this is when I'm doing those actions. This is when I'm saying, I can't get every avatar today, but I can get one. So what's the one avatar that I'm going to get today? It could be something like, I'm going to do 7 Edna quests, because an Edna quest has a chance of giving you an avatar, and you could do it more than once a day. It could be, I'm going to try to get on the Braintree high score list. Also something that's largely random that you could do a lot of times in a day, but you typically won't just spend all of your time doing that on Neopets. Like, you could do it in a bunch of bursts and maybe get the avatar and never have to do it again. For me, I've lately been playing this game called Godori on Neopets. And the whole goal, there's an avatar. If you win like 250 hands in a month, you get an avatar. It also has the tendency to like make my brain melt, and I will lose hours of my life to this game. It's like actually legitimately fun. But also, I can't wait to never have to play it again. I think I've logged something like just hours of my life recently playing Godori, and I would like that time back, please. Thank you. Hopefully, I get the avatar this month, because if I don't, I can't. I can't imagine the horror of just having to continuously play this game like for another month. I could do it. I mean, honestly, I should just set up a live stream and like do like a benefit or something, but that takes like more effort than just like mind numbingly press the buttons and veg out while your eyes go glazed playing Godori. It's actually quite fun. I like it a bit. So that's it. That's what you do with 20 plus minutes on neopets.com. And I have the plus in there because it goes from like, I only have 5 minutes to where did the last 6 hours go so quickly. There's so much to do. I know that there's like a lot of people coming back to Neopets after like many years away, and hey, what's up? How are you doing? There's a lot of really great Neopets YouTubers that you should check out. And so no doubt when you search Neopets on YouTube, you're going to have the chance to see a lot of those folks. Go ahead and give them some support. It's been a really lonely couple of years. I've been making videos about Neopets for like a really long time. And it's just so exciting to see all of the other creators coming into this space, and to have the opportunity to hear so many other voices and perspectives on what to do with the website. So, show me some love, show them some love, and I'll see you guys on the Neo boards. Bye.